MauMau veteran, 99 years old, fought for this country back during the War of Independence and fought for it 50 years later when he went to the UK seeking reparations for veterans of the MauMau War. Unprecedented is what he did, and no one thought that they would be compensated, but some compensation did come their way. He has great stories to tell, and I'm telling you, we are proud, honored, on this eve of Madaraka Day, 60 years later, to have Gitu Kahengeri on the bench. Gitu, let me ask you this. Tomorrow marks 60 years.
Yes, sure.
Since we first attained internal self-government.
Correct.
60 years later, is there a lot to celebrate? Is there much to celebrate?
Yes, there is much to celebrate. The reason is that we are a free country today. There are many people who say there is nothing that has come out of the 60 years ago. But that is not true. We recovered our independence, freedom and justice in 1963. Therefore, for everybody in Kenya, there is something that was done, and it happened. We are enjoying our freedom today.
But let me ask you this, we could have been so much further ahead. That's what a lot of critics say. Kenya could have been so much further ahead. And it's always like we're taking one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back.
That I agree.
I think someone's trying to call you, Gitu. I think someone's trying to call you.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. You
can I put it off?
Yeah, they know you're live on TV. They just want to check.
Yes, I can put it off.
So,
can you repeat that?
Yes. A lot of critics say Kenya could have been farther ahead, much farther ahead. Sometimes it looks like we're taking one step forward, two steps backwards. What do you say?
I say the freedom in Kenya...
That person is going to bother us.
The freedom in Kenya was not received by those who fought for the freedom. The freedom for Kenya was received by the traitors, the loyalists, and the homeguards. These people were not for development at all. They wanted to crush us, they want to kill and finish us out of the earth, and therefore, up to this day, those who are in the government are preventing development in every way they can, thinking that this development, if it comes, it will come to the people of the MauMau. Therefore, our development has retarded for all those years because the freedom was received by those who did not fight for it.
Was that wrong? Was that the mistake we made?
Definitely. That is the mistake, and that is why Kenya will even never go further if this attitude of the homeguards, traitors, and loyalists continue to service in our country.
What needs to be done, Gitu? 60 years later, what needs to be done to reverse
We
that?
must have dialogue. Dialogue is the mother of all agreements all over the world. Even in your house, you must have dialogue to keep your house standing. We are not asking that these people be punished, but we are asking that they agree they did a wrong thing to prevent this country to grow the way the MauMau freedom fighters and our old parents wanted the country to be. When we went to war with the British, we wanted this country, when we get free, to grow in a speed. And then one day we will look to be like America or United Kingdom. But we cannot go that further because our country's freedom was received by those who did not fight for it.
How did you feel as MauMau? How did you feel when you saw the Home Guards, the loyalists, those who didn't fight, take over?
Very sad, Jeff. The work we did in this country, we did the work with tears, with sweat and blood, so that we can make our country free. And no doubt we did that. No doubt we did that. But when we see that what we envisaged has not come after 60 years, we must be very, very sorry. And therefore, that is why I'm saying we must have a dialogue and look at the matters from the beginning in 1963 to today, so that anything that went wrong at that time can be put right. Yeah. We have people now who can put things right if they know where to start.
The other day I saw you at the funeral of Mukami Kimathi.
Yeah.
You were there, and it was so sad to see that she lived such a impoverished life, for lack of a better word. It was when she died that everybody rallied around her and wanted to praise her and, you know, pour all this kind of praise. But for the most part, she suffered in her lifetime. She doesn't even know where her husband's remains are to this day.
Correct.
No one has bothered to go look for them in Kamiti, because if they really did, they would look for them, just like they're looking for them at Shakahola. They're looking for dead bodies and they're finding them. They can't find Kimathi's remains. Wasn't it sad to be in that funeral session that day?
It was very sad, very, very sad. We, the MauMau, wanted to go and attend the funeral to respect Mukami Kimathi, because Mukami Kimathi was a heroine. He was with us in the forest. He was fighting like we did, and therefore we wanted to give her an honorable send-off. But we thought some people somewhere would see that point from that angle, perhaps have a ceremonial prayers at Uhuru Gardens, where we have a big area, and that was brought by the MauMau people. That was not done. But we hope, if we get into good dialogue, aiming at developing our country, we can get to that.
Yeah. There was some talk that in Uhuru Gardens, where you mentioned that they're going to make a heroes' acre, where they can bury all the heroes of past wars.
Jeff, that is a heroes' acre. That is where many thousands of freedom fighters died. This is one of the notorious detention camps in Langata. Therefore, it is our own crater where we should be proud about that many people fighting for the freedom died at Uhuru Garden area at that time.
And they're buried in the ground there?
Yeah, no, they are not buried in the ground there, but that was a detention camp, a transit camp, sending people Mageta Island, Sayusi Island, Manda Island, where I was detained.
You spent time there?
All that.
Yeah. So sad.
Very sad.
Let's go back to October 20th, 1952. State of emergency is declared by the governor of Kenya Colony. And you are all rounded up.
Yes.
Tell me, take me through it.
In 1952, that is the beginning of the war of the MauMau people and the British government. When the British people started beating people of Kenya everywhere they meet them. And therefore we decided we will not die in the streets of Nairobi. We must move out to the forest so that we can strategize when we are there, the way we can fight the British soldiers. And therefore, it started with all young people through their leaders. It was decided that they must go to the forest, and will be fighting from the forest and back into the forest when they have done actions in the reserves or in Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, and all these places where the Europeans lived. Yeah.
Tell me, how fierce was the fighting?
It was very fierce, Jeff. It was very fierce because we, the MauMau, had decided to die for our country. We had sacrificed our wealth, we had sacrificed our body strength, we had sacrificed our intelligence, we have, in the end, sacrificed our lives.
And many of
to die or not to die was not a problem.
No, you were ready to die.
Yeah.
And many died.
Yes, many died.
Many more than we are told.
They died in a holy war because we want to recover our freedom and justice. And that is why young people of this country gave their lives. They said, die or live, we must drive out British colonialism from Kenya.
Yeah. The official record says that about only 12,000 Africans were killed.
Yes.
That number.
Or more than that.
That's what they say.
Or more than that.
Yeah. There's some people say a lot more.
Because the freedom fighters were shot at sight. Anywhere a freedom fighter was seen, or perhaps was expected to be seen, he has to be shot at sight. So many people died even without record.
What did a freedom fighter look like? Because you're saying they were shot on sight. How did they know that it was a freedom fighter? How did they know that person was a freedom fighter? How did they know?
No, they knew. They knew because the freedom fighters was a wake-up a group of people in the country. And they were refusing orders from any of the British colonial administration. And therefore in the villages, headman, chief, home guard could recognize that Jeff Koinange is a hard crack. He is not agreeing to what the British people are saying. And therefore they knew us. They knew, and we knew them. We knew these are the home guards, these are the loyalists, these are the traitors, and they knew that these are heroes and heroines of the freedom struggle.
When were you caught? When were you caught?
Oh, in 1963.
53?
Yes, 53, yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
53. I was caught in 1953 because I personally was working with the MauMau freedom struggle as a strategist. I was responsible for many things in that struggle. And therefore I was caught here in Nairobi. I was detained in Athi River. I was then taken to Lodwar Detention Camp. I was after that taken to Takwa Island in Manda Island.
Goodness. Tell me something. Did you ever meet the leaders of MauMau? Were you ever in touch with them?
The leaders?
Of MauMau.
Who are the leaders of MauMau?
You tell us.
The leaders of MauMau are the people of Kenya who are eager and give themselves to fight the British. Jomo Kenyatta and his 5 other people were caught and put into Kahengeri court for leading us. I cannot deny they were leading us. Gay was a leader in Machakos. Kubai was a leader here in Nairobi. Bildad Kagia was a leader in Central Province. Ochieng Oneko in Nyanza. Therefore, these were the leaders who were guiding our activities. Now, if you are guiding activities of MauMau terror, what we were called the terrorists, then we are included to be a terrorist.
Yeah.
And that is why they were taken to Kahengeri trial.
You said your first detention camp was where? Your first detention camp?
Yeah.
Where was it? The first place they sent you?
I was sent in 3 notorious detention camps.
When you say notorious, what do you mean?
Very cruel detention camp. Our breakfast was beating.
Was a beating?
A colonial administrator would wake up in the morning and ask a prison warder, have they taken breakfast? And that breakfast to them meant, are they beaten this morning? Because we were to be beaten every morning is a routine. That was the matter that was going on in detention camps.
Yeah.
In detention camps, there were many detention camps in the country. There was Athi River Detention Camp. There was Isenya Detention Camp. There was Mageta Detention Camp. Sayusi Detention Camp. McKinnon Road Detention Camp. Manyani Detention Camp. Takwa Detention Camp. Manda Island Detention Camp. All these MauMau people were castrated, were put into for many years.
Yeah. And many were castrated, you just mentioned.
Yes.
And tortured.
Yes. In my case, the case I took to England in 2009,
Yes.
I had 3 gentlemen who were castrated, and it was certified by the medical authorities, because we could not take them to England as witnesses without having a proper testing. And they were, of course, certified that they were castrated.
Yeah. Back in detention camp, after the morning beating, what else would they do to you? What other torturing tactics?
The other thing to do after beating in the morning is to go and work. A scheme of hard working in the field. Sometimes it's useless way of doing a thing, because it's to dig big holes in the field, carry the soil with the iron sheets on our heads, dump them somewhere, and then tomorrow we collect them from there back to the shimo.
Good Lord.
This is what was happening in detention camps.
My goodness. Did anyone try to escape from detention?
Many of them did, but they were killed on the way. I had about 7 young people who escaped from Athi River Detention Camp, but they were killed at Rokenya Hills when they were trying to cross the fields to the other side of Keremambogo.
And let's not forget, a lot of women were also detained in concentration camps,
certainly.
Right?
This is why we, the MauMau fraternity, do not like you talking about 1/3 of shares in to women. We say you give them 50% because they participated in that war enough to save this country from colonial dictatorship and subjugation.
And
they
many of them
did hard work.
Many of them were raped.
Many of them were raped. Others were in detention camp with us. Others were killed in the emergency villages. Many things was done in that manner. But women of this country, we respect them. We want them to get positions in the government, not at 1/3 as is said by other people, but 50-50.
Equal.
Equal.
And yet a lot of the women and their children were never given anything after the war.
Nothing.
After independence.
Nothing. Not the MauMau fraternity who liberated this country through sweat, blood, and tears were not given anything to appreciate what they did. And I can tell you, Jeff, the assignment we were given by the people of Kenya to liberate Kenya from colonial dictatorship is not comparable. You cannot compare that with any other job given to any individual or group of people in this country. That was a great job to be respected by the people of Kenya.
And yet they weren't compensated.
They were not.
They got nothing.
Nothing at all.
Gitu, I want to take a break, come back and talk about the case you took to London.
Okay.
I mean, you went all the way. Nobody ever expected that you would ever win.
No.
But you group won.
No, but we did win.
Let's talk about that after
We
the break.
did.
99-year-old Gitu Kahengeri, true MauMau hero. And he says they were given an assignment by the people of Kenya. They completed their assignment, but they got nothing in return. How sad. 60 years later, ask yourself why we are where we are. Keep tweeting at Konanga Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.